Thank you very much, folks, for taking the time. I'd like to introduce you to Antonio Calderón from Spain. Very welcome. I met Antonio a number of years at conferences and spent time particularly with him last year in Budapest at Easter, where Antonio introduced me to the work that he does. I think the level of integrity that you show with your work, the amount of variables that he uses, the level of reflection and investment, I think is astounding, and I think it's really valuable that we can actually share it with us. When I did hear Antonio last year, I was all for, I'm going to do it. Of course, a year's gone by and I'm not doing it. But I suspect at the end we'll all want the research design that he has, and we'll all promise to do it. So again, false promises probably again today.
Sure.
But very, very impressive work, and a very considered practitioner, researcher, and you'll be able to see that.
Share with all of you what I learned in the last 3 years using social media and digital technology in my teaching. But first of all, I have to say that I'm delightful to be also here in such an amazing university and such amazing department with all of you. I'm feeling like at home. So thank you very much, Anne, for having invited me to here. And thank you very much, Mary and Missy and Brigitte, for taking care of me so nicely. And
to another one.
Daniel too. I'm just here 1 week and 4 days, and I think I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned was the other day in the seminar we did, and this was this Irish word, cosan. And by that time I thought, oh, this is my work, this is my word. So, and it's so interesting for my presentation, because I think I'm going to speak to you about my cosan, my learning journey using social media and digital technology in the last 3 years. So, as my English is not from Cambridge, I think the best way to do this presentation is at least to read this theoretical framework, and I have set the slide to do so. So you can also read. Maybe I will read slower than you, but I think this is going to be the best way, for the best option for a good understanding. So here I go. I hope you enjoy. So social media not only is changing the way people communicate and collaborate, but also the way people learn. Despite there is controversy regarding the value of the educational role of social media, recent empirical studies suggest that digital technology could improve teaching and learning experiences. The sense of community built among students and lecturers through social media improves peer-to-peer communication, increases solidarity in class teams, and leads to a better teaching and learning environment. Nevertheless, some student perceptions about the usefulness of social media in academic contexts vary widely. On the one hand, many acknowledge the ability to access to academic information quickly, the convenience of direct communication, the improvement of critical thinking skills, and a perception of their academic achievement. On the other hand, some students perceive social media as distracting, time-consuming, and made for leisure and socializing activities rather than for academic purposes. So students appear to enjoy social media use, resulting in the creation of a more interactive and appealing learning environment, hence increasing their learning motivation. Students also expect to use social media for leisure and social connection rather than naturally consider them as a learning tool. So we are dealing with the E-generation. This experience I'm going to tell you about is the one I have with my first years undergrad, so they are 18. They are more closely to the high school than, and this is an important point to take in account, I think, because they consider the internet and every technological are not tools at all. They simply are, as this author said. So research has explored the influence of using social media on a variety of academic-related variables. For example, collaborative learning, critical thinking, peer-to-peer and teacher-student communication, and perceived efficacy, motivation, and student grades. However, the most comprehensive variable is student engagement, because it encompasses behavioral, emotional, and cognitive aspects. Student engagement is widely recognized as an important influence on achievement and learning in higher education, and as such is being widely theorized and researched. Although engagement parameters are not clear at all in the literature, so there is an agreement that engagement is related to motivation, enhanced achievement, and a sense of accomplishment. Engaged students are more active in their learning process, take responsibility for their learning, and use a variety of cognitive and metacognitive strategies to support their learning. In the social networking environment, students appear to enhance the social engagement, but not a high level of cognitive engagement was demonstrated. So this is an important point I'm going to back later. So what's happening with the teacher in terms of the teacher's involvement also impacts student perceptions about the usefulness of social media in their learning. Teacher awareness, attitudes, and perceived ability regarding technologies strongly influence the utilization of social media in class. This is my case. Most of the educators use social media and digital technology in their teaching due to their passion for technology, but also a passion for improving my student learning. Two passions. So it's important for all educators to critically evaluate the adoption of social media and digital technology in their teaching, rather than being driven by the latest craze in the technology market that it's very common sometimes. So to use social media as an effective learning tool and to adjust students' prior affordance with this tool requires complicated efforts in designing, in scaffolding, and interacting with the student during the process. So after this quick theoretical framework, I'm going to offer you some big data more, just to make sense of what is the topic that we are dealing with. For example, in the UK, it is estimated that in 2018, and nearly 40 million people will be active users of social media network. And focusing in one specific application in WhatsApp, I'm not sure here in the UK if it's too much use or not. In Spain, people is crazy with WhatsApp. Every day, every time, every moment doing WhatsApp, and the students too. So near 1 million people active user up to date. So why not to introduce in the academic context? So my main goal is to examine the effect of using social media and digital technology to engage first-year undergrads and to facilitate, or not, change of their core beliefs about coaching youth sport. Having known that reservist teachers typically do not change their beliefs about teaching and learning during teacher education unless they are confronted with and challenged about their held beliefs through powerful and meaningful experiences. So I'm going to show you my powerful and meaningful experience. That doesn't work. But this is my powerful and meaningful experience of the last 2 years, 2013, 2014, and 2014, 2015. My main learning goals outcomes, I want my student to reflect about the pros and cons of sampling versus specializing approaches to youth sport. I want my student learn the basic theory and practice of different pedagogical models applied to youth sport settings, mainly sport education and teaching games for understanding. And also I want my student to enhance their digital competence and awareness of the benefits of social media and digital technology for supporting their learning, for getting autonomy. So the course is for unit, is a course called Youth Sport. It's a semester course. We have 4 units, 4.5 credits, and this is the hashtag we use in that year. So I'm going to focus in this presentation in the first 2 units, in which we deal with the topic sampling, US specializing, or traditional coaching or innovative coaching. So we have 3-hour lectures and 1 practice. In the practice hour, my students have to deliver 1 lesson, applying one of the pedagogical models. I help them to prepare this lesson, and then I support them in the design of this lesson, but they have to deliver it in teams. And the instructional strategies I use to get these learning goals are this one. My social media week is some kind of this. I have the tweet of the week, the paper of the week, the tweet interview of the week too. I have a live class Twitter chat, and I sometimes tweet to provoke reflection in them and to start dialogues. So the tweet, the paper and the interview is also connected with the topic of the unit. I share all this information through Twitter and using the hashtag. And the student, what they have to do, they have to tweak practice photos. So along the practice, they work in teams, and one of them have the responsibility to take picture photos of the practice, and then to share with everybody through Twitter too, with a reflected tweet of the photo. It's not just to make the photo and share it through Twitter. So you do the photo and then a tweet who make people reflect about the photo. They also have to create a team reflection. They have to upload to YouTube, public or private, doesn't matter. If they don't want to be in the public YouTube, of course they can do it. A team reflection about the practice, but they have freedom to tweet. So this is not compulsory. It's not going to be, I'm not going to grade this participation. And they are freedom to engage with me or with other people in the dialogues. Every unit we also do a Google Hangout. I'm not sure if you know this application of Google. I think it's a really good one because we did debates online. And I prepared the debate with some guide questions for them. They have to prepare the question. And then I share with them some stuff or articles to prepare this debate. It's important to remember that we are dealing with first year undergrads. So the debate this year is sometimes so difficult. So for that reason, I invite a special guest who is a student of the last course, just to put a little bit of more quality of something. After this debate, I design the highlights and I put it on a PowerPoint presentation and I share with everybody, because in this debate is not compulsory too. They participate if they want. So at the end, as I want all my students get the highlights of our debate, I prepare this presentation and I share with everybody. And we upload it to the YouTube too, so anyone can access anytime, any day. Every unit we also have a documentary that it's content related, and along the documentary, we have the live class Twitter chat. So while the documentary is projected in the big screen, they have freedom to tweet and to discuss, oh, I don't like this, oh, what interesting thing you know, for documentaries. And last, I have special awards for the teams who perform, who do it better. Three kind of awards. The best team in the practice is the one who apply better the pedagogical model, fidelity or something. The best team in the reflection, creativity, topics, concepts. And the best team in social media, more active, participating, creative, innovative too. If they win one of these awards, they increase their grade and they have a special diploma that I sign. So what was my main findings of these 2 years? I advanced later that not so good, sadly. My desire was to create a student-centered environment in order to enhance student learning, but as some authors recommended, but this approach could be challenged as being too teacher-centered. Me. The social media intervention included activities that may have restricted dialogue interaction, such as it's more one direction process of information sharing from me to them and stop. My tweets were too closed and teacher-centered, so they simply didn't prompt the student to get involved. Only a minority of students appear to be engaged meaningfully. It is also worth noting that these were the most technically competent using technology and the more motivated the student. In every class we have more students that are so good and others that not so good. So it's clear that the other students are more accurately described as lurkers, is a passive participation. Yesterday I found an article who was really good because the phenomenon of lurking is always associated with a negative behavior, and it don't have to do a negative thing because you can be passive, reading, reflecting about all the things are being sharing, and this maybe and not if you are tweeting a lot and you are so active, does not mean that you are learning and all. Maybe you are just tweeting because you have to do for your grade and no more. So this, I think, is a really good paper I can share with you, and all the paper I can share with you, all the papers. So it may be the case that in their personal use of social media, this is the perfectly valid way in which they engage. So this approach simply transfers to the learning context. As I think I found this author, some authors reported the same superficial engagement that I found. That's it. When a teacher posted teacher-generating content instead of involving a student in critical activities, the engagement is superficial. So the intention was good, but many of the first years undergrads have little previous experience of using social media for learning, and this reality does not match to my aspiration. So to force greater collaboration between first years undergrads through Twitter or any other social media site does not seem to be the most effective solution. Instead, it may be more important to set up a learning environment that attracts a student to technology gradually and in ways that acknowledge their prior beliefs and experience as user. My use of social media and digital technology was somewhat mechanical, leading the user to focus on the short-term day-to-day use of social media with insufficient time for reflection. That's me. And was true. On reflection, the focus was too much on my excitement of using social media and too little on the learning outcomes and student individual needs. So to establish a more authentic student-centered approach, it might have been more effective to have involved the student in solving social or digital technology-based tasks or challenge. Mostly should include the creation of an artifact or content or something, as many authors recommend, either collectively or individually. As Casey notes, the use of technology needs a clear purpose and an effective combination of technology and pedagogy. And it is that seems to be the differentiating factor in attracting and keeping students engaged. We should not lose sight of the fact that for the most part technology is a tool to address some educational concerns. So we arrived to this year, this semester. I finished this subject, this course last February. So I decided to change, it would be necessary. I decided to change the message of the hashtag for another more creative and engaging. I choose this one after a deep searching process. FIT Mola. FIT is the acronym of the course, and Mola is the Spanish word that means cool. So FIT is cool. FIT Mola in Spanish. This change of hashtag is not arbitrary, but instead represents a major shift. First of all, I do feel a level of security and comfort in using Twitter for professional learning and global connection. My personal learning environment is now more or less defined, and I also start blogging. This is a great challenge for me, but I share all my reflection. I vlog the reflection I have is some kind of my diary. I'll show you later the website. So this change of conception has consequences in my teaching use of social media. Having concluded that the first 2 years of innovation needing to be improved, I decided to change the focus of the module. So, I think about the socio-digital technology-based task. I call it mini challenge. My students had to do 8 mini challenges along the semester. And in the next slides, I'm going to show you how I present them the mini challenge and the information. This is an example of the challenge number 2, in which we deal with the topic, again, sampling or specializing. So every challenge have a really clear goal. For example, they have to create an infography in which they represent the pros and cons of one topic, whatever, sampling or specializing or whatever. And every challenge have 5 steps. Every challenge have the same design. So in the first one, they have to search information. This is the first. And I advise them to search in different sites, in Twitter, in journals, websites, in the YouTube, in Google. I recommend that you have to go over here or you have to go over here. But they have to search information to create this infography. This is the first step. The second, they have to curate the content. Curate means on the internet there is a lot of rubbish. So not all the things you find is going to be high quality stuff. So for that reason you have to select what is important for you to incorporate to your infography or not. So search, curate, create the content using one specific software. For example, in this I have some examples of Pictochart. Pictochart is a free software to create infographies, and this is the results of some of the infographies. For example, this one you can see one infography. I grade them from 1 to 5, and I'll show you the rubric. But at the end, these are the results of the challenge. In this infography, you can select one of good point of the infographies is that you can put links, you can put videos. It's not a flat document. It's have interactive document. and they are really proud when they finish of their work. So search, I have two more. Poton is a really nice application too, for free also. And look at these examples. This is one of the work of one of my students. Challenge number 4. They have to decide when is the best time to start training. So some of them are amazing. This is one of the best. So they have to search, they have to select, and they have to put in their presentation. And we are in the 3rd step. We need 2 more. So references and whatever they want. I share with them specific directions, no more than 2 minutes of video. And music is also good with Powtoon. And just to add quality information. It's important, if you can tell me a story, better. If you can tell me your story, much better. And this other is also so good. This challenge was, they have to, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And this is the challenge number 9. They have to reflect about the best age to start the competition in youth. And the title was sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So I guess you can think about the process to arrive to here. Search, create, put on the presentation, and then publish and share your work. You have to publish your work in your blog, because every student have a personal work. This is the challenge number 1, to create your blog. It's some kind of portfolio. So every challenge they have to upload it to personal blog, and they also have to share this information through Twitter, trying to connect with the people you are used to create your stuff. That means if you have done some information of Dr. Martin Tons, that is a huge advocate for youth sport and good practices, you have to try to connect with them through Twitter and telling him, hey, Dr. Martin Tons, look at what I did. What do you think? And try to connect with them other people through Twitter, through Twitter, mainly through Twitter, trying to connect and trying to reflect more. And lastly, they have to reflect of the whole process of the creation of the artifact, and they have to publish this reflection in their blogs. And they also, I think this is a really important action. You have to make a summary of your conclusion of this challenge and tweet it. So just 140 characters to tell me about your conclusions. Is better to use sampling, or is better to use a speciality? You have to tweet this in 1 tweet or more, doesn't matter. So every challenge have their special rubric. So every student have to auto-assess, auto-grade their work in the competence of search, create, share, and reflection, with a scale from 1 to 5, 0 to 5. So every time I share with them the challenge, I share with them the rubric, so everyone would know how can get to the best grade, who is 5 points. One important thing, I think, also for the good connection that I'm having with my student this year is that every challenge have a deadline to be to be submitted. So the next day of the deadline, I have all the challenge grade with a specific feedback for everyone, individual, and with a grade. So if you don't have, if you have to have 3 points to get the challenge. If you don't have 3 points, I'll give you some recommendation to arrive to get to these 3 points and give you 1 week more to refix and submit again. This is crazy for me. But
how many students do you have?
100 students, just 2 classes, 50-50.
Wow. Wow, okay.
So yes, the day of the deadline I have to spend a lot of time, but not so much because the feedback is so similar for everyone. So I just copy and paste. I just change the name. Dear, because I call them by these names. And also, as I'm going to tell you before, the important thing is affective feedback. You are doing well, come on, it's the way. Learning is the most important at that kind of things. I think this is all. I'm so happy with this because every week they have the chance to resolve all the doubts because most of the students don't know how to start the challenge. I'll show you some good ones, but there are others that are not so good. So I have them. I have 1 hour a week, what I call the happy hour, every Wednesday from 10 to 11 p.m. This is Spain. Yeah, this is Spain. Yeah, it's different. So I thought, what is the best time for this happy hour? And in Spain, we took dinner really late, so at 9. And students what are living in their home, in their own, they take dinner at 9 or so. From 10 to 11 is the time when they sit in front of the television, and I want this could be an informal connection with me and them. And we connect through WhatsApp, through my mobile phone and their mobile phones, because I have two groups of WhatsApp, one from class and one from the other. And I think this is so great because I think like I have a powerful weapon. The information just from me, from here to their hands. And I think this is so good. So every time, every Wednesday, the happy hour. And they are so active. They participate a lot. They asking a lot of questions. They answer their own question. I don't have to ask. I don't have to answer most of the questions. They have a really good climate between them and the mobile phone. And for finish, I'm just going to explain what I do with WhatsApp. And before, just some numbers. In Spain, nearly 100 of people are using WhatsApp. More than Skype, Telegram. So this is crazy. I think everyone, every student, every adult are using WhatsApp in their daily life. Later in the dinner, I can talk to you about the group of WhatsApp of the fathers of the children at the schools. Really dangerous. WhatsApp is the top app of messaging, just before Facebook Messenger. So what I do with WhatsApp? 3 things. Pre-lecture communication. That's it. I try 10 minutes before my class, my lecture. I send to them some specific message or some specific image like this one. Are you ready? I'm going to start. So just to do some kind of warming up. We are warming up the lesson. Number 2, I use WhatsApp for in-lecture communication, and this is great. Look at this. This is real photo. The last night I told all of them, remember to bring your earphones. And at the starting of the class, I sent to them a specific video. The video in the experiences of 3014 and 4015 that I share through Twitter, I share that way through WhatsApp, and look at the concentration. So they see directly from their phone the specific thing I want them to see. And after this, we out the earphone for sure, mobile to the pocket, and then we are going to discuss and we are going to speak about this interview. The interview is, as you can see on the slide, is a specific sportman or a sportwoman in Spain that are speaking about their youth sport experience. So I select the specific ones just to provoke the feelings. And last, I use WhatsApp too for a post-lecture communication, and in which 5 or 10 minutes I finish the lecture, I send to them the highlights of the class, and always with affective feedback, trying to enthuse, trying to motivate them. I think you already know the findings. To be honest, I'm going to say you that I'm teaching this year. This is my 13th year teaching in the university, and this last semester was the best. My best teaching year. Best engagement, best grades, 90% of the students pass with good grades, amazing environment, really good connection with them, interpersonal connection, and I think if you have a good personal connection, you facilitate learning, I think. And that's all. All this experience I publish then in this blog. Is the blog of the subject, but I use it as a personal blog in which every time I need it, I just share and write and reflect about the teaching and what is going on. Before to finish, I would like to say you that this pedagogical case is going to be published in the book of who is leading as Casey, Vicky Goodyear and Kathy Armour about pedagogical cases using technology. This is going to be one chapter. So most of the information is just a straight take of this chapter. So, and they did a great work with my chapter, editing a lot, extensive editing, they say, but that's true because it's so difficult. That's true. It's so difficult for me to write in English, as you can imagine. It's a real challenge for me. And no more. This is my university. Everyone is invited. This is our sky every day, also in winter. Just blue sky.
Too busy. Erasmus? No. Yes.
Yeah. This is always, as here you have always this sky. There we have this sky always. It's really strange to see a cloud in the sky. So it's like this. We live in Murcia. It's south and east of Spain, and again. You can feel free to contact me, as you know, and I'll be so happy to connect with you. And that's all. Hope you enjoy, and we can talk if you want more.